What if the world told you that your dreams were too big? What if everyone laughed at you for daring to reach higher than your circumstances? This is the story of a poor farmer's son who had nothing but dusty hands, an old lamp, and one unshakable belief that he could one day walk the halls of Harvard University. And against all odds, he proved that self-belief can break every barrier. In the heart of Mexico, where the air is thick with the scent of soil and sweat, Diego Alvarez's story began. He was a boy of the fields, his hands rough before his age, his eyes bright with unspoken hope. Each morning, Diego rose before the sun, joining his father in the fields where the earth was stubborn and the work was endless. His father, a man of quiet strength, tilled the soil with resolve, while his mother, graceful despite the hardships, sold vegetables in the market, her laughter a brief respite from the weight of their reality. Money was always short in the Alvarez home. The sound of coins clinking in his mother's apron was a reminder of limitation, of dreams deferred. But Diego's hunger was not for food, it was for knowledge. While others drifted into sleep, Diego sat beneath the dim glow of a kerosene lamp, a borrowed book in his lap, his imagination soaring beyond the confines of his small home. Sometimes, the lamp flickered, threatening to surrender to darkness. But Diego's determination burned brighter. He devoured every page, every word, every idea that came his way. He dreamed not of riches, nor of escape, but of understanding. He dreamed of Harvard University, a place he had only seen in worn photographs torn from magazines, a place where minds from every corner of the world gathered to learn, to challenge, to change. When Diego spoke his dream aloud, the village echoed with laughter. Harvard is for the rich, Diego, not for you. The words stung, but Diego listened to a different voice, one deep within, that whispered, "Why not me?" Unyielding, Diego threw himself into his studies. He walked miles to the local library, his shoes thin, his steps steady. He wrote essays on scraps of paper, his handwriting cramped but his ideas bold, because notebooks were luxuries he could not afford. Sometimes he traded chores for old textbooks. Sometimes he borrowed knowledge from neighbors who had little to give. Rejection became a familiar companion. Scholarship applications returned with polite refusals, each one a bruise to his spirit. But Diego collected those letters, not as proof of failure, but as stepping stones. With each rejection, he repeated the mantra etched in his heart. If I don't believe in myself, no one else will. The journey was lonely. Many nights, Diego's father watched him study, worry etched on his face. "Son, don't let hope break you," his father whispered. But Diego only smiled, his conviction unbreakable. He knew that the world had never been changed by those who settled for what was easy. And then, one ordinary morning, as the sun rose over the fields, an extraordinary email arrived. Diego's hands trembled as he opened it, his breath caught between hope and fear. The words blurred before his eyes. "Congratulations. You have been awarded a full scholarship to Harvard University." In that moment, the world stood still. Tears welled up in Diego's eyes, rolling down his cheeks like rain on parched earth. That night, his family cried too, not tears of sorrow, but tears of pride. Diego's mother held him close, her embrace fierce and loving. His father, usually stoic, let emotion break through, whispering, "You did it, son. You showed them." Diego's journey from the dusty fields to the hallowed halls of Harvard was not just a victory for him, but for every child who dared to dream beyond circumstance. He walked into Harvard, not as a stranger, but as a testament to what relentless belief can achieve. He carried with him the lessons of his homeland, the humility of hard work, the resilience of hope, and the courage to stand alone when the world tells you to sit down. His story rippled through his village, changing the way people saw possibility. Children who once believed that dreams were reserved for the wealthy began to see themselves in Diego's footsteps. Parents whispered his name when encouraging their own children to study. The market women, who had once laughed at his ambition, now spoke of him with pride, reminding each other that dreams do not ask for permission or for wealth, they ask only for belief. At Harvard, Diego faced new challenges. The pace was relentless. the expectations high. Sometimes he felt the weight of being an outsider. But he remembered the fields, the long walks to the library, the rejections, and the lamp that threatened to go out but never did. He remembered his father's words, his mother's laughter, and the village that now believed because he believed first. Diego became a bridge, not just between two worlds, but between possibility and reality. He encouraged other students, shared his story, and reached back to help those who followed. Diego's journey is more than a tale of personal triumph. It is a beacon for anyone who has been told their dream is too big, too impossible, too out of reach. The world will always offer reasons to give up. Poverty, doubt, rejection, ridicule. But the only voice that matters is the one inside, the quiet conviction that dares to defy limitation. Belief is the spark that turns impossibility into destiny. Let Diego's story echo in your heart. When others say you are too poor to dream, remember, dreams do not care about money. They do not care about background or circumstance or the expectations of others. They care only for courage, for grit, for the willingness to keep going when the world says stop. The journey may be long, the obstacles many, but the destination is real for those who refuse to let go. So gather your dreams, hold them close, protect them from doubt, nurture them with effort. Walk the miles, write on scraps, collect your rejections and turn them into fuel. Believe, even when no one else does. For the greatest victories are not won by those who begin with everything, but by those who begin with nothing and dare to reach for everything. Diego Alvarez's life is proof. The world may tell you your dream is too big, but the only voice that matters is the one inside you. Belief is the force that transforms impossibility into destiny. The fields of Mexico may have shaped Diego, but it was his heart that carried him to Harvard and beyond. And if he can do it, so can you. Dream boldly. Believe fiercely. The world is waiting for your story.